What's up, people? I am back for another video. Today, I was supposed to do Bad Boys yesterday, but I didn't. So what I'm gonna do is I'll just do that tomorrow. So I might be doing two videos tomorrow. I'll do that one probably during the day, and then in the either late evening or afternoon, depending on how I feel. I'm gonna be reviewing No Holds Barred for Bad Movie Wednesday. So I should be doing two videos. But if not, I'll at least do Bad Boys 2. And then I'll just have to delay No Holds Barred again. But today, I wanted to start this series since it's the 31st anniversary of the first Jurassic Park today. I figured why not start my rewriting trilogy. Because I guess fundamentally, before we get into, start, because I'm going to be rewriting each of the trilogy, the Jurassic World trilogy, each of the movies. Where this week we're doing Jurassic World either next Tuesday or I'll do it on Monday. I don't know which, because I might next Tuesday do Bad Boys 3. So we'll see. Or I'll do Bad Boys 3 on Monday. I don't know. We'll see. But it's sometime early next week. So it'll either be Monday or Tuesday. I will be doing part 2. We'll be doing Fallen Kingdom and then Dominion after that. Because I'll admit, at first, I really love Jurassic World. But it doesn't help that Dominion really fucked up the entire trilogy, but over the last couple years I've been really a lot of the negatives about this trilogy has really crept in. I still think mostly Jurassic World is a good movie, so that's why this is going to be of the rewrites. There's not going to be any massive ones. So I'll probably remove certain characters, I'll change little things, but relatively it's going to play out the same mostly. So I'll get to that. Fallen Kingdom, I liked at first, but I think that and Dominion was not very good. But Fallen Kingdom's kind of fallen apart a little bit for me. And I think the big one is them. The problem fundamentally with this trilogy is what they did with the dinosaurs. You basically made the T-Rex and the Velociraptor superheroes, and you just took away the mystique away from these creatures. And I think that's going to be a big one, obviously. I mean, this is going to be the entire trilogy is I want these creatures to go back to just being animals. No more of this Fast and Furious kind of tone. Or I have to agree with people who point that out a lot of the newer the fact that there was no real stakes. That you compare to those first two films, there were stakes. And there really was none in these new films. You never really felt like anybody was going to die. They were, especially the last two, scared to kill off any kind of civilian, or because they saw it as if you remember first Jurassic World, there was that Zara chick who was killed by the mosasaur. People complained about that, and because of it, I think they kowtowed and sorry about that. So, because the problem was they kowtowed to that, so I think they got scared to kill off innocent people, so they started only having I guess designated people to die, like the hunters, and in Fallen Kingdom, the only people that really were killed were the people at that the auction. Granted, yeah, apparently off screen, the maid lady for Maisie, apparently she was killed, but they didn't want to show that because you can't show innocent people die because they feel like only bad people should get eaten, and that's not how animals are. These are fundamentally animals. Animals do not look at you as a good person or a bad person. These predators and these animals, specifically the predators, but even if we're just talking just predators, they don't care if you're a good or bad person. So, unfortunately, you had that stupid mentality, and I think that's why they were so scared to kill innocent people, or people who are, you look at Eddie Carr's death in Lost World, there was nothing like that. because they were so scared. So the only people who guessed kind of in their argument deserved it were like the hunters, the like mercenaries, the people from the auction and Fallen Kingdom. So that's gonna be all changed because I think fundamentally that is what destroys the trilogy. And I would argue too there was a little bit of planning. Like it wasn't like the sequel trilogy where there was no plan. I think there was a plan, but I think Dominion especially, that's gonna be a big one. I'll admit I did somewhat of a rewrite, I think, of Dominion around when it came out. But I want to do like a more intricate one, especially because that's what I want to make these videos. Because I just feel like, yeah, I could be negative. But the Jurassic World trilogy, and if I have to look at it post, Dominion, I have to say it's a largely disappointing trilogy. I think there were good elements in them, but I think there are things that need to be fixed. So I figured, why not go within each by film, and fundamentally the issues with Jurassic World, I just think so what the big issue with the first Jurassic World really is, I think the film should have been longer because I think oh, sorry, even the first time I watched it I felt like it was too long, like too short. I mean, I get it. Jurassic Park films, at least the first three, were like 2 hours. About like the first one's like 2 hours and four. I think, yeah, no, I think the first one's 2 hours and six, and then like I think Lost World's like 2 hours and four. So they're not long movies. But I think the world, especially with the added, lore, they could have made the film a bit longer. I'm not saying make it 3 hours. I think 2 hours and like 15 minutes. I think you could have given him like an extra 15 to 20 minutes. I think so we can give more background. The big thing I'm going to change is I'm not changing any of the characters. Like Owen and Claire are still going to be our new protagonists, but they're going to already be together. I especially this going into Fallen Kingdom, always thought it was dumb breaking them up just to get them back together. That's the one thing I will give the new ones. I thought Owen and Claire had great chemistry, and just to break them up out of nowhere was stupid. So I feel like they're just going to already be together, and I'm going to get rid of Gray. I'm sorry. I think that was fundamentally the other problem. And I'm going to get rid of Maisie too, so I'll just outright say it. So when I get into Fallen Kingdom, Maisie's going to be written out. I just think this franchise's dependency on children got cringy. It got to a point where it's like, oh, well, the first one had it, so you have to have a kid every film. It's like, no. I understand the idea, right? Because you want to have a kid's point of view, especially with the park being open. But you already have other kids there within the park. I don't need a kid character. I found Gray annoying. And when I rewatched Jurassic World, that is one of the things I found. Zach wasn't too bad. I think you could have had his story. What I would tweak is I would probably make him a little younger. Probably not as old as he was in Jurassic World. Maybe make him like 14, 13, 14. And where it's still like he's a kid, but he's not like an annoying little kid. And the story is Zach and Gray is maybe fuck, we can keep the same age because I'll just make him Claire's adopted son. Maybe not her actual son by birth, but her adopted son. Or no, you can make him Owen's son even. And maybe at one point he was really into dinosaurs, but he grew out of it, and then his dad got the job at the park. And you maybe have a little bit, not necessarily you make them distant, but like maybe you obviously have the little typical, he's a teenager, I'm too old for dinosaurs, he's trying to get girls or whatever. So Owen, that could have been an interesting. You could have had a little bit of Jurassic World be a father son story. Owen. Owen trying to protect his son. The Indominus is still gonna be there. Like I said with this rewrite, there's gonna be big portions that are a lot are gonna play the same. Just Owen's not gonna have. There's not gonna be any gray. I just found that character annoying. Felt like he really didn't add anything to the story. I get it. They're connecting. I didn't care, so I'm just gonna write that out of. Another thing, a lot more background into the park because I felt like this is more of a more recent criticism when I rewatched Jurassic World recently. Was I felt like there was no world building behind what's going on with the park. There's little lines here and there, but I really would want to go into the first movie, the way they go into the park and how the park works. And now you have a park that actually works and has guests. I would have loved to see a lot more into that. And that's the other thing. We're going to go more into the guests. We're going to show off more dinosaurs. And in my idea, the dinosaurs there'd be more. They'd not all, but a lot of them would be animatronic and go more practical. Because that's the one thing I would give Dominion in terms of the dinosaurs. It had the best looking dinosaurs because they used a lot more animatronics. They weren't just using a lot of CGI, which this film did. So I just put a lot more into the park, maybe more into Ms. Ronnie's character, maybe go into his relationship with Hammond. Now, obviously, I'm not needing every single detail, but just little things so we can kind of world build and see what's been going on since 2001. And I felt like Jurassic World really didn't do that. And maybe it wasn't trying to, but I just felt like just give me little things like that. The Indominus breakout relatively plays out the same. But there will be a little bit more background into it. Not like every single detail, but how it was bred and all that. And have Miss Ronnie's character and, go more into Dr. Wu. Hoskins, I'd have that character still, but I wouldn't make him a bad guy. I'd make him almost like he doesn't want to. And no, we're not doing the trained raptor thing. I think I might just move away from that. There's still going to be raptors in the film, but I don't like the idea of the trained raptor thing. And if they're going to, maybe there's one. Maybe Blue is the only raptor that's trained, but the rest of the raptors are wild. I get the idea of where they're going, but trying to weaponize it, and I think that bogged the film down too much too. Because I think that could have been interesting. I want to go back to the raptors being scary, and I think that's fundamentally gonna be where I'm trying to go. Same with the T-Rex scene. I'd have the T-Rex break out earlier, but it wouldn't just be broken out just to fight the Indominus. It'd get out and maybe it chases some park goers for a little bit. Or there's a scene where you see maybe Zach and Gray. This is after the breakout. Maybe Zach and Owen are reunited and Claire reunited. And kind of like a similar scene if you remember the original film where the T-Rex grabs a Gallimimus and eats it. Something similar to that. And, and a big bulk of the film is Owen and Zach kind of reuniting as father and son. Kind of go more into that. Put a little bit of heart into the movie. And like I said, make it longer. Because I want more world building. Jurassic Park, there's so much. Even in, the first two movies, the things they were able to do in world build. Especially the first one. How they, give you the background of the island. But just to see more of that. But there's also going to be mentions of what happened. There's going to be a little bit of somehow a John Hammond tribute. There's maybe a book of his writings that Miss Ronnie has because Miss Ronnie was bestowed the park. So after Hammond's death, go more into mention the other islands, because I think that's the other thing. I felt like the World Trilogy in general was trying to. I've been saying this for a bit that Isla Nublar has become the Tatooine of Jurassic Park, where it's the only island that exists. And I don't like that. I don't like that being the only island that exists. I like the idea of, Sorna that they just abandoned because I guess they don't want people to be reminded of 2 and 3. I love Lost World. Yeah, 3 is not a good movie, but Sorna is still a great island. I love the idea of the dinosaurs being in the open. So that's kind of. So speaking of Sorna will be officially In my rewrite, the idea is I'll bring it back in Fallen Kingdom. Like, yeah, the I will still have the volcanic explosion on the spoilers going into the next one, and maybe there'll be a scene where they have to go to Sorna. So, but Sorna will be. I mean, at least in this one, will be referenced. Um, Owen and Claire build up a little bit of their relationship, and the Indominus relatively plays out the same because I think Jurassic World did a pretty good job with the Indominus. So, like I said, this rewrite isn't going to be as intricate compared to the other two, especially the last one. It's just because I mostly like Jurassic World. I just think there's just little things they can build on. Obviously, get rid of the gray character. Hoskins do more. You know what? Fuck it. I know it'll be a little cheesy, but maybe actually, not. You can make Hoskins tie to Owen. That Owen was in the military, and then Hoskins was his, was his command. Was his captain. Um, or something like that, and that's why they have maybe a little bit more of an adversarial relationship. And he wants to do something with the dino. Maybe do something with the government. Do something, but not the train raptors thing. That was stupid. And basically, the mosasaur will get a lot more background, especially in the next few films, because I love the idea of the marine reptiles, the prehistoric marine reptiles that have never really been explored in Jurassic Park, at least on film. They put the Tylosaurus, if I remember, in that Jurassic Park Telltale game, but other than that, in film, they've never really explored it. So to finally have it, and then they really didn't do anything. I understand it worldwide because they were kind of limited, but the next two films, I really felt like they didn't do much with the mosasaur. So that's going to be a big one. And have it even be that it's a big attraction. Have Mizrani go into it. And definitely, when the breakout scenes happen, you have like a bit of, go more into the civilian, the guests. Sorry, you're gonna have to show some guests getting killed. I think you have to, if you want to show the carnage. No, obviously you don't want to make it overly bloody, but like even there's a scene when the Indominus gets to the main part of the park, it eats a couple of guests. I think that could have been a really cool scene to see. I'm not just saying because I want to see Dino carnage, this part of it, but I just think you gotta put up the stakes in this first Jurassic World and really show why the first Jurassic World was a fuck up. I think you could have really gone into that, especially setting up for the next one. So I don't want to go too long, go into every scene. Hoskins towards the end gets eaten by. I'm gonna change it from the Raptors to the Indominus. Blue is the only raptor that stays with Owen, while the other raptors obviously have a similar scene where the raptors are trained, but they all either get taken out by military or even like Blue takes out a couple. And then obviously you have the fight. Somewhat basically the fight plays out, the final fight with the Rex, because the Indominus gets in its territory. And obviously the Indominus nearly kills the T-Rex, and then Blue. You can kind of basically, the fight relatively plays out the same way. But the only tweak is you don't have a stupid scene of the T-Rex almost doing this when the T-Rex nodding to the raptor after they took nodding to Blue after they took down the Indominus. No. I didn't need that scene. But it really, and then towards the end of the film, the ending's going to play out a bit different. I don't think there's a big newscast about what happened at the events of the first Jurassic World. You have Hoskins' secret, turns out, kind of the same way you have the Indoraptor. Because I actually like the idea of the Indoraptor. I want to do way more with it than they did in the first, in Fallen Kingdom that we got. So I figure we're going to still have that play out the same way, but Dr. Wu has the DNA, basically. And then there's a scene of Owen and Claire and Zach, having a family moment, and then basically setting up the events for the next Fallen Kingdom. And then obviously the film, I'm gonna have it end the same way with the T-Rex roaring, and then maybe you see the mosasaur now that the thing's open and all that, and all the destruction. now the Indominus, now the Mosasaurus out into the sea, kind of like basically they did that in Fallen Kingdom, but I'm just gonna have it happen in this film. But and then obviously go into see Rexy climb the mountain like you saw in the on the top of the building, like in the end of the first Jurassic World. But yeah, I just wanted, for me, the big part is I just wanted to add a lot more background to the park. Owen and Claire already being together. None of this setting up just to break them up shit. Just already have them be a couple. And, have a father-son story. Have a little bit of heart. And, there's scenes where Owen and... There's even a scene where Owen and Zach and Claire maybe are chased by the T-Rex. T-Rex notices them and chases them. And to try to escape, like, show the T-Rex being scary, not just being a superhero. You can still have the moment it takes down fights the Indominus, but the scene where having chase, it's still an animal. The T-Rex should be almost treated like a force in nature in a way. At least within Jurassic Park, I've always felt that way. So I think that's what the T-Rex needs to go back to, and I'm really going to hammer that home with the entire trilogy. So, but overall, that's the idea. I want Jurassic World isn't, like I said, going to be the most extensive rewrite because I like the film for the most part, but I just think there could have been done more world building. The part where the T-Rex almost nods to Blue after the fight is cringy. I saw my friend Mara pointed that out, and I can't unsee it now. It's just like, okay, that's kind of hokey. But the fight itself was cool. But none of that. More, like I said, more world building, more chaos at the events of Jurassic World, because I really think you need a hammer home. You even have scenes of someone going InGen needs to pay for this. All these families, were affected because there's going to be a lot of deaths. I think that's what should have happened. I'm not saying go overboard with it, but something like that, there needed to be a bit more to really hammer home. They really could have why Jurassic Park shouldn't work. You shouldn't try to control nature. And I think that's really what the theme of the Jurassic Park was always about. And they should have never, and I think these movies should have stuck to that. And they never, the closest one was this one, and then the next two just go too action heavy. Like I said, the animals aren't scary anymore. I want to make the raptors scary again. So there's going to be sequence where Owen, and maybe there's a situation where Claire's separated from Owen and Zach, and there's a scene where she has to try to get away from some raptors. Maybe there's a scene with the Dilophosaurus, so you get a little bit of a Dilophosaurus cameo. But more scenes with the dinosaurs. I've always felt like we should have saw more of the dinosaurs, and I think because that's what this franchise was about. We never really got a good look at them. So, but other than that, guys, that's basically my idea for a Jurassic World rewrite. Next, you know what? Fuck, I'll do it next Tuesday. So next Monday, I'll be doing Bad Boys 3. I'll try to do that on Monday next week, and then next Tuesday we will do Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom rewrite. So tomorrow I'll be doing Bad Boys 2, and then I'm going to try to do No Holds Barred also in the evening, if not just Bad Boys 2. And then Thursday I'll be doing, I don't know what I'm doing Thursday yet. I'll have to look again, but I'll figure out what I'll do Thursday, and then Friday should be War for the Planet of the Apes. I don't plan on seeing anything new right now, so. Other than that, guys, that's my Jurassic World rewrite. I hope you guys liked it. I want to do more creative stuff like this. My other plan is probably when we get to Halloween, like October time, I'm thinking of doing a Halloween trilogy, the David Gordon Green's trilogy rewrite. Maybe plan to do that for October. So I'll probably basically rewrite Halloween 2018, Kills, and Ends, definitely. So I'll be doing that in October. But I figure, why not do this once it's June? Since it's Jurassic month, today is the day that Jurassic Park came out. So why not do this video today? Next week we'll do Fallen Kingdom, and then the week after we'll do Dominion. So anyways, guys, I'll end it here. talk to y'all later. Peace.